Okay, so I'll give you a quick recap on the scenario where we use application server files, right?
Yes, sir.
So, what is the application server file? So the file which is available in FTP. FTP means file transfer protocol servers. So it's a shared server. Whoever have access to that FTP, so it will contain directories. Directories are nothing but folders, and we can read that file from that corresponding directory. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So these are available in that SAP server. Whatever the system instances of SAP that is available on the same server can access all the FTP
Directly.
directories. If external system need to access, they need to have credentials.
Access.
So they need to have IP address and the login credentials. If the external
Yes, sir.
system needs to access this FTP server files. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in which scenario we use these application server files?
Only.
So let's assume
And
we have a SAP server S4 HANA or ECC. Okay, whatever the system. Let's assume it's a S4 SAP ERP. Now, in any organization, the system should be like distributed systems. Like so, ERP is a single source of truth for the data, but it needs to connect with different other systems to exchange the data. For example, I'll give you an example. So in any company, they'll provide insurance for their employees, right? Health insurance for their employees, and there's some other benefits. Who will provide this insurance? Company is going to maintain that insurance?
no, sir.
No, right? Some
Yes,
Sometimes
third
sir.
party vendors,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Some, like for example, take LIC or some Bharti AXA, National Insurance, like that. There are
It's
different
for.
insurance companies. So these
Yes,
companies
sir.
will make some agreement with those insurance vendors, right? To provide
Sir.
insurance for their company employees, right?
Yes, sir.
But how can those third party vendors can provide the insurance for your company employees? They need to know the employee name, age, gender, date of birth,
What
right?
to do?
Date of join,
Yes, sir.
and their dependents, spouse details, children details, parent
Yes,
details. So if company can provide these details to the insurance provider, so insurance provider will create a insurance policy for the employee, right? Without providing these details, they cannot create the insurance, right?
yes, sir.
Now
yes.
who needs to share that information to the third party vendor? So for example, company is using
Company.
SAP ERP. So all the employees master data will be available in SAP ERP now. So we need to send that data to insurance provider. Whoever, if it is a Delta, we're going to send whoever the employees joined today in the company, right?
Yes, sir.
If it is full load, we are going to
Or
send all the employees, right?
sir.
When it is Delta, first time it is full load, second time onwards,
Only the updated
only the
records.
updated records, Delta records. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, so SAP sends the data to the third party system, and they created the insurance policies
Lamia,
for the employees, right? Once the insurance policies are created, how can we know what is the insurance policy number of a particular employee? Do you have that data?
No, sir.
No.
We won't.
This insurance provider has to share the data with the company,
Company.
and that should be stored somewhere in the created somewhere in the SAP ERP, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
after creating the insurance policies, so the third party system should send the data to SAP ERP. Which scenario it is?
It is inbound. Sorry.
Yes, this is a inbound scenario, and this is
outbound.
outbound scenario. Now, can this third party system directly access the AL11 files?
No, sir.
Usually, some middleware tool like SAP PIPO will get the data from SAP application server and send the data to third party system. Okay. Usually, third party systems cannot directly connect with the SAP application server. They use some middleware.
Middleware too.
So in SAP we have a middleware called SAP PIPO.
Okay, sir.
By using that
APO.
middleware, we'll fetch the data from application server and post it to third party system, right? So what this middleware will do? These tools, what this middleware will tools will do?
Convert the source data format to share.
Source or sender. So converts the sender data format to receiver acceptable format, right? For example, SAP is sending file, but receiver, this third party system, cannot be able to process the file data. They can process only
Oh,
some XML data or some web service data. Okay.
sure.
So what this middleware tool will do? It will read the file from
Read
SAP
this.
application server, and it will convert the data in the file into web service,
Excel. Yes, sir.
so that third party systems can understand that web service, right?
Okay, sir.
Similarly, in inbound scenario also, middleware will pick the middleware will select the data from third party systems in a different format
And,
and converts into SAP's
yes, sir.
understandable format. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes,
So it's a
sir.
converter. Middleware is like a converter, right?
Yes,
Because
sir.
every system cannot accept all the formats, right?
Yes, sir.
So when we are connecting with external systems, they have their own dependencies. They cannot accept every format of data, right? Depends on the receiver acceptance or depends on the receiver technical specifications. We have to convert the data. For that, what is the tools we use?
Wait to
Middleware tools. In SAP, we have middleware tools like SAP PI,
PIPO.
process integration,
Oh,
process integration,
okay, sir.
process integration. In short, we call SAP PI or CPI. SAP CPI means cloud integration. Advanced cloud integration is advanced one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is how it works in the projects. Okay. So depends on the scenario or requirement. We are going to select the data from tables, prepare a file and post it to application server. And middleware tool will select the file and post it to third party system.
Convert to, yes,
Once
sir.
the file is processed, what will happen? So once the file is processed, so this middleware tool will delete the file from the current directory and move it to archive directory. Okay.
Yes,
So in the next day, a new file will be posted to the directory. Okay. Each
yes,
file
sir.
interface will have its own file directory.
Okay,
Who will
sir.
create these directories or folders? Basis. SAP Basis admin will create this
Okay,
application server directories or folders. Okay.
yes, sir.
Now, if you take outbound scenario, what is the syntax for outbound? First, we need to open the data set.
Data
So
set.
File.
these are sequential files. Whatever the data we are posting to AL11, these
Yes,
are
sir.
sequential data. Okay. So open the data set. Here we need to provide the data set name or path in text mode
Text
or
mode.
binary mode. Binary mode will read, will post the
Deep
records character by character. But text mode will check for
line by line.
complete line.
Yes,
It will
sir.
copy data from the starting position to ending position of the record. Okay.
Yes, sir.
For outbound, what is the syntax for output? For output means create the file.
Encoding. Default.
Default.
Encoding means UTF-8 or ASCII. These are the encoding types. Okay. Now,
Okay,
Right.
sir.
once the file is successfully opened, that means if sy-subrc equal to 0. If not equal to 0 means file did not created in the application server. Okay.
Yes, sir.
In between, transfer
Answer.
Transfer.
W auto to internal.
path.
Path.
Before that, we need to loop the internal table.
IT data into work area. After transfer and loop.
Work area. Um,
Now, this is a outbound, sending the file,
Close
preparing the
the
file and
data.
sending the file. And
So close the data.
yeah, once data transfer is completed, close data set,
P underscore path.
file name.
Yes, sir.
Also
This is for outbound. Now
outbound.
let's check inbound. Open data set statement is common. P underscore path
File
in
text mode.
text
Text mode
mode
for input,
for input.
input,
This is
encoding
to read
data.
the file from application server to database. Sorry,
Yeah.
internal table.
Yes,
Encoding
sir.
is default
Default.
and need to read.
Read the data. Need to read data.
P underscore.
Transfer internet.
Some internal table, append it. Once all the records are processed into internal table, then
Close data set. Sir, read data set file name into file path into work area, sir.
sorry, yes,
Okay.
yeah, okay. And if you need to delete the file, we have a syntax, that is
P underscore.
okay. That's it. This is to
Delete the
delete the
file
data
path.
set, delete
Delete
the
the
file.
file. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's create a simple outbound program.
Yes, and inbound for outbound and sales.
So there is no difference between the previous ALV reports what we created. Okay. Instead of displaying it in the ALV output, we are preparing a file here. Okay. Remaining logic is as it is. Create a class, add the methods, select the data, populate the final internal table, and display. Instead of displaying it in the ALV, we display here. Sorry, we populate to application server file. Okay.
Yes, end of blog view.
So what is the input? if it is a if it is a
Out.
delta, usually we don't need to provide any input. It will automatically select the records which created
Recent.
till today. Okay, so for now we'll take some date as select option. Let me check in the table. So whatever the records created on specific date will generate the application server file.
So,
ERDAT. So create the select option.
LV underscore data.
Select option is completed. If you want a directory location, for that define one parameter. For now take string. Okay,
So,
and now here I want an option. Before generating the file and post it to application server, I just need to test, or I just need to check the records which are generating, right? Not in the form of file, but in the form of some ALV display. If everything is fine, then only I will execute my file to be posted in AL level directory, right? How can you provide that option? For that, I'll define checkbox. Okay,
so,
so whenever I select this checkbox, I'm not going to generate the file. Instead of generating the file, I will just display the final output data in ALV report. Okay, it is just for simulation, just for testing. Okay, this is also most common options in application server file programs. We need to provide an option to test the program instead of posting it to the application server. Okay, because it will take time, or you need to work with basis consultants to delete the file from application server if something wrong. And for testing, it is not good thing to post file every time, right? If you can provide an option just to display the data in the screen, whatever the data that is creating in the file, that is helpful, right? For that reason I am using a checkbox. This is the syntax for checkbox.
okay, sir.
So whenever the user selected the checkbox, I will display the final data in the form of ALV report. I'm not going to generate the file. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir. Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Simulate. I'm providing an option called simulate. You know, right? What is simulation means?
So,
We'll just execute the process for testing, but we are not going to actually creating the data in application server, right? Date. Okay. Now this is your selection screen.
so,
Now, do I have any F4 help to select the application server directory? No, right?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Just like how we select the local files, I just want to
Mm,
add an option to select the application server directory also.
okay, sir.
How to add? For that, I think we will be having a function module where in which event we need to add that.
So,
At selection screen. Yes. At selection screen for value on
Value
request.
request for
P
which one?
underscore P underscore a path.
Application server
about
path. Go to pattern and let's try to find the function module. I'm using some keywords with star. This combination couldn't find oh, I have to use F4, not this. Not continue. By mistake, I'm clicking on continue. F4 server, F4, F4 for server details. It's in German. Tools for learn file adapter. Mm, let me try this. Not sure. Uh, let me try this. But first, let's test this in what is the transaction code for function modules?
SC37.
SC37. Provide the function module name and execute. Execute. Ah, it is providing the directory. What is our home directory? USR is this one? Temp. I don't remember. Anyway, it is showing the path, directory path.
okay, sir.
Let's try find our home directory path. USR SAP A4H. Let me try again.
A4.
USR is the root directory. SAP is the subdirectory. A4H is the subdirectory. What next? D24,
D21.
D21,
Yes,
work.
sir.
Inside
Work.
work,
Yes, sir.
we might have more files.
So,
So that directory will be selected in
helpful, sir.
this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Let me check what is the type of this importing parameter. Is it a string or not importing, exporting? Server file. So no specific type. For directory, there is no specific type.
No,
Let's try calling the function module in our program.
yes, sir.
Pattern.
Export.
Okay. See, whatever the exporting parameters in function module, the calling program, they'll become importing.
Import. Sir.
let's test this. Is it working or not? Execute. So F4 is available to select the. This is how we can add F4 help for application server files using the function module. There might be different methods also. Okay. Now our application server path is completed. Now write some business logic. So you know, right, what you need to do to implement the business logic. So modularize it. Okay. Modularize using class methods. Okay. In
Yes,
few
sir.
projects, they still ask for old-fashioned objects like subroutines or include programs. Depends on your project coding standards. Modularize the business logic. Okay. But in most
Yes,
of the
sir.
new projects, S4HANA projects, we need to modularize using class methods. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What else? We'll select some quantity data also. BAP. I think ZMENG or something, right? For item level quantity. ZMENG is for quantity. Z mains is for
Unit.
unit, or you can also use mains. Where is the amount?
At pure.
Both select both currency,
Quantity.
amount and the reference key, currency key. Okay. So please remember, since we are working with files, it won't accept this currency and quantity fields in open data set transfer or read. Sorry, in transfer, right? We need to convert this data as character type data. Okay.
Yes,
Before
sir.
passing it to that open data
File
set
path.
statement. If you don't have any currency quantity fields, you can directly use the same internal table and same data.
Beyond. We equivalent to BAP into table.
Which one? VBAK ERDAT in s1s.data.
Yes.
So what is the select
Sir.
option we have taken? Data, date, data. Okay. Let me change it to
Yes,
date. Okay.
Yes, sir.
VBAP mathematics.
Now I got my data. Okay, then so we got the data. Then we need to check is it for simulation or is it to create the file. If ck underscore test equal to ABAP underscore false, then open dataset, else ALV, and if. Okay, since we have currency and quantity fields, so we need to convert this data into character type data before passing it to the application server file. Okay, so there are different alternatives. Let me create a simple type structure with character data file structure. Okay, this is my file application server file structure. Okay, there is no rule that we need to send all the data, right? Whatever selected here in the file output structure, I may take only few fields also. Okay,
हम उसको लीजिए
remember. Okay, and define one maybe work area. Work area is enough here in this example. File type ty underscore file. Here I have taken the same field names. Please observe whatever the field names I am using in the file output also I have taken the same field name so that I can just use move corresponding. Okay, if you don't want to send all the data, you can remove few of the fields. Sorry, but here instead of these, right, I'll use char 20. So there are many alternatives, right? This is one of the example. Escape sign. Spelling mistake. Okay. Now, if CK test is false means checkbox is not selected. That means it's not a simulation, right? It's actual file run, correct? Then
Yes,
open
sir.
data set. What is our P underscore A
Yes,
PLT
data.
image?
Yes.
What next?
In text mode.
In
Text mode.
text
Text
mode
for output.
For output,
for output.
encoding default.
Default.
Encoding is default. If and if file is opened successfully, then loop
Use
IT sales into
At IT.
data underscore regulated
what is the statement? Transfer
To
to
file. P underscore.
P
To sir.
right? It won't give any errors, but while it is processing, right? You can see the errors. It won't transfer the data if there is any currency and quantity fields. First, let's try with the same work area. Otherwise, what is the alternative? We have defined a type structure, right?
Yes, sir.
Move corresponding w underscore sales to w underscore file.
Everyone.
So instead of w underscore sales, transfer the w underscore
File.
file data. Okay. Then once all the records are processed,
Close data.
close data set, right? If it is true, checkbox is true, then that means it is for simulation. Build the field catalog, display it in the ALV report, the same data, sales data, right? For now, I'll use CL demo output. Okay. At the end, error handling is very important. You need to handle the errors in every scenario, okay? So that you can understand
Okay, sir.
what is breaking, where is the issue, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm not providing any date. What will happen if I don't pass any input in the select option? It will select all.
Yes,
It will
sir.
ignore the where condition. right?
Yes, sir.
Now select the directory.
Sir, we have to select only worker, sir.
If you have access to the other directories,
Okay,
so you can, okay?
okay, sir.
SAP A4H D24 work. If you have directories inside work, you can select those also. So select work and provide the file name.
Slash.
You can also generate the file dynamically, right? So for first select the simulate option, execute. So the data will be displayed like this. It won't display the, it won't post the data to application server.
Application server.
Okay. If you as long as you select the simulate option, removing the simulate.
Eight.
Subarc is 8 because it is not accepting the complete path. There is some issue. Let's remove the path. Keep only the file name. dir home is the default directory, and it will actually, it should accept, okay? In your projects it should
Okay,
accept
sir.
file path slash, sorry, directory path slash file name, okay? Here
Okay,
we
sir.
have some access issue, that's why it is not accepting, okay?
Okay, sir.
Now let me execute the statement again. Right click, go to statement, F5. Now file is created, F5.
Yes, sir. Zero.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, there is some
Yes,
network issue.
sir.
Yeah, give me a minute, let me connect again.
Yes.
Okay, so data set is created in the A11. So we are looping through sales data and we are populating file data, right? Okay, NETWR is empty. So we are looping through all the records and transferring the data to application server. Data posted to A11. Let's go and check in
Okay.
A11.
Yes, sir.
Go to DIR home.
One. Freedom.
Where is our file?
Descending order.
Last changed descending. Sorry, selected ascending. This one I think, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the data we posted to application server, right?
Yes, sir.
Now let's assume we have a sales data posted to application server and we need to read that data from application server and post it to SAP. So some third party system posted some sales data in the form of text file in application server and we need to read that file and post that data to SAP. This is an inbound scenario. Let's try
Yes,
inbound
sir.
scenario. I'll just copy this program to create an inbound program. It is slow. So let me create for inbound. We'll delete the unnecessary parameters and objects. So here we don't need a select option for a date because we are not selecting any data from the tables. We're going to read the
Yes,
application server file,
File path.
right?
Yes, sir.
So here checkbox that is optional. If you want to just check the data in a ALV format, you can display the data by using simulate. If checkbox is empty, post the data to SAP, okay, by using BAPI or BDC or direct table updates, whatever the suitable method available. In this scenario, BAPI is suitable. Sales order, create BAPI, okay, since existing BAPIs are available. Let's keep this checkbox as it is with along with the path. And this function module, this is to select the file using F4 help. Okay, clear?
Sir.
And we don't need to write any select statements because we are selecting the data from application
Application
server
server.
file. And we need one structure same as AL11 file. We need to define one file structure same as AL11 file that is already available. We created for the previous program. We are going to use the same. But here we need one internal table to collect the records.
sir.
Internal table is ready. Now this is as it is like okay. Now tell me the syntax. to read the application server file.
Open dataset, file
Okay,
path,
okay,
text mode, output, encoding default.
yeah. Open dataset name, that is same in text mode for input, not output. For
Input. Read.
for input, encoding is default, right? So once the file is successfully opened, what we need to do, we need to collect the data into one internal table. I'm removing this.
Mm.
I will remove everything. Now, if
Read
subars
data
equal to 0 means there is a file and
set
it is
order.
successfully
Reading that
opened.
file.
Now we need to collect the records one by one from file to internal table. Okay,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it cannot convert all the file into internal table at once.
yes, sir. We need to
Loop,
read
sir.
work area.
Then append it to internal table, right? This internal table. Both are referring to the same type structure, right? And
Yes,
both
sir.
this type structure contains same fields like the file structure, whatever the file available in application server. So I am saying, so what I am saying. So this statement will read the record one by one, right? This read dataset statement read the records one by one into work area, and we are going to append that work area record to internal table, right?
Internal.
Yes, sir.
But here, if we just use read dataset statement, how many times it will execute?
One
One
time.
Only
time.
one time, right? So
Yes,
that
sir.
it can read only the first file, first record
Yes.
available in the file,
Yes,
right?
sir.
We need to repeat the statement until all the records are
Finished.
transferred or
Yes, sir.
selected from the application server file to work area. For that, what we need to do
Do loop.
do
And do.
uncertain number of times, infinite number of times, and do. Now, what will happen if we use do and end do without specifying times? If you specify 10 times, it
If
will execute for 10 times, right?
only 10 times.
But we don't know how many records there in the file, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
One
sir.
day,
We don't know.
one day the third party systems can post 10 records. The other day, the third party system can post 10,000 records. We are not sure about it, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we need
sir.
to read depends on the number of records available in the file. That's why I'm using do,
Only.
right? Do and
Sir.
end do. If we don't close the loop, do loop, it will run for infinite number of times. Infinite loop. If we just mention like this. Somewhere we need to terminate the loop, right?
Yes,
When this loop should be stopped?
When all the records are
Yeah,
yes,
when
sir.
all the records from the file are transferred to work area. The last record also processed, right?
yes, sir.
How can
Sir.
you identify that? After the read statement, if sy hyphen subarc is not equal to 0, that means no more records. Okay? Or like this. If it is equal to 0, append the file, append the work area to the internal table, else exit. What that exit statement will do?
Will
Out.
come out of
Come
It
out
will
the
terminate the
of.
loop.
Yes,
It will
sir.
terminate the loop. If you use exit statement within the loop and end loop, do loop, while loop, it will terminate the loop. Okay?
Okay,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Continue is the next statement. So if you use continue, it will skip the current record processing and continue with the next record, right? In place of exit, if you use continue, what continue will do inside the loop and end loop? it will skip the current record processing and continue with next record. It won't skip the, it won't exit the loop. Okay, it won't terminate the loop. Okay, it's also an important interview question. Continue will skip the current record processing and continue with the next record, right? But exit, it will completely terminates the loop. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
not only in do loop, in loop and end loop also concept is same. Okay,
Yes, sir.
once the data is collected, once the data is collected, then use your simulation logic.
Yes,
If
sir.
checkbox is false, simulation checkbox is false, then call BAPI. Okay, or call BDC steps, or write direct table updates, data open SQL statements, right?
Yes, sir.
By looping this internal table records, right? In between loop and end loop, call the BAPI
Okay.
or BDC, whatever suitable. Okay,
Previously.
whatever suitable. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let's test the program. This is to read the file. Select the file, application server file using F4. Where is
SAP.
it? SAP A4H D21 work. Inside the work, we have a sales file, right? It seems it is in the ascending order. Is this the one?
Second one, sir.
This one?
RF1G, RF5.
This one, right?
Is not there. Huh?
Not that one, sir.
Not that one.
Dot. Yes.
Okay, dot text.
Below RF First one is reserve TXT.
Execute. F5. It seems failed to read the data set. Let me pass only the file name by removing the path and try. It will, by default, it will read from the default directory. There is some issue. So yeah, file is opened. Now initially work area is empty. First record populated to work area and append with the internal table. Then second record append, third record append until all the records are completed. Now
Yes, sir.
looks like 464 times the do loop
Yes,
is
sir.
executed, right?
So
Now what
sorry.
is difference between tabix and index? Tabix is a number of loop processings. How many times the loop is executed? Index is
Number of
It shows the current
iterations. Okay, 465. Like the loop is in 4.
60.
This is how many records maybe. Tabix is number of records processed into this 465.
Position of the records, sir.
Where is the data? Oh, sorry, I have to use simulate, right? To display it in the ALV. Error in file. Okay, let me pass only the file name.
simulate.
Simulate. So this is the data which is reading from application server file, right?
so
So just displaying it in the output, but instead of this, you can do any other operation by using that data, right? Clear? Usually these
Yes.
programs will be scheduled in background, right? How to schedule background jobs? Go to SM36 to create the background job. Provide the job name. For example, click on enter. Provide the variant. We need a variant to execute this background job. What is our program? This one, right?
in
Huh. Uh, Save. Create the variant with some input, because in background job it should automatically execute, right? We cannot provide the output, right? It should automatically populate. I'll do one thing. I'll populate the name automatically. Depends on the date.
SY.
First, let me create a variant. I'll automate dynamically generate the file name. This concatenate statement, alternative for concatenate statement, sy hyphen
Data.
time, date and time. Okay. Dot txt, some text. Okay. So I'll save it as a variant, save as variant, test variant, save. Because why we need a variant? Because we cannot provide the input in background jobs, right? Because all the program executions are happening in foreground as of now. Foreground means we are executing it manually, but background jobs will be scheduled in background so that in a specific time this background job will trigger every day. Okay, no manual interaction, these jobs will be automatically executed. Okay, now create a background job. Here also we have an option to execute the program in background. Program execute in background in the SC38 program itself. Okay, here also you can schedule the program in background. What is the transaction code to create the background job? SM36.
SM36.
Click on enter, provide the program name. What is the program name? No, it is automatically populated. Select the variant. Variant is mandatory. Pass the input. Save. Program job name, program details, and variant is completed. But what is the start condition? Mention the start condition. When it should start? Is it required to start immediately or at a specific point of time? Schedule the date. From which date it should start executing and what is the time, right? Note start after. If you want to terminate the job after a specific date, if this job should not execute after that specific date, then you should provide the date. You should always remember the date and time. You should provide the system date and time, SAP server system date and time. Okay, not your local time. Okay, always remember. Okay,
Yes, sir.
now is it a periodic job or one time job? Periodic
Periodic.
job means it will execute.
Second period.
Periodic basic means daily, monthly, right? Hourly. Okay, like this. Save. Hmm. Specify repetition period. Okay, in periodic values, no start after. Maybe we'll use some date. Okay, sometime, and we need to provide, since we selected periodic job, we need to provide period values. Is it a hourly job, daily job, or weekly job? Okay, let's schedule it daily. Other period, you can select the other periods also. Save. Start date is in past. Looks like the time is already completed. Let's select some 14. Save. Mm, maybe we'll take change the time zone. Let me check. Let me give tomorrow's date. 3, save, right? And save the job. Our job is created and it should execute at that specific point of time daily, right? Where can you monitor your job? SM37. Job monitor is SM37. If you know the job, provide the job name, otherwise use star. Username also. If it is created with your username, use username, otherwise use star. Okay? Since I know the job name, execute. Scheduled. There are different status: scheduled, released, ready, active, finished, and cancelled. Scheduled means it is just scheduled, not yet released. Released means ready to execute. Okay, ready to execute. Active means execution is in progress. Finished means execution is completed. Cancelled means for some reason if you terminate the job, the status will be cancelled. I've selected the scheduled status also. From, I'll change the date. I've given tomorrow's date, right? Hmm. So it is in released
Release.
status. So once the job is in execution, the status will be active. Okay. So it is already released. Once it is completed, you can check the status. Let me show some sample jobs. I'll use star here, and user who created is some best. Let me take some past date.
Sir, if period is not mentioned, only for that particular day and particular time, once only it will be executed, sir.
Yes, once you set that time right, it will execute daily on that specific time. You
Okay,
can
sir.
set it hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, or custom dates.
Okay, sir.
Or let me execute the report immediately. Mm. Few jobs are displayed here. These are all the different status. These are all completed jobs, right? Looks like these are all standard jobs. Uh, uh, Someone created Z job. It's a custom job. How to check the status? Double click on the job. Go to job log. If there are any errors, any issues, there will be logged here in the job log. Okay. If there is any error messages, everything. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to know the output, go to spool. Here you can display. Here you can check the ALV output or any other output which is displayed in background. Okay. In spool. Okay. Let's let's create one more job and we'll execute immediately. Enter. Provide the variant. Save. Go back and provide the start condition. Start condition is immediate. Save. Save the job. Now and go and check in which transaction code.
37.
37. If you know the job, provide the job name, otherwise some star. Okay. That will also work.
Yes, sir.
Execute. Huh. This job is finished,
Finished.
right? Job details, job log. There is no errors. We have a message. Data posted to A11.
11.
That is success message. If you raise the error message, what will happen? Job will be terminated. Cancelled status. It will go into cancelled status.
Cancel status.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
If you raise error messages. Okay.
Oh, sir.
That's how we schedule the jobs and monitor the jobs.
Job class default is C, sir.
Huh. Clear?
Yes, sir.
If you have ALV output, that will be displayed in spool.
School details.
Or let me execute any ALV report. Blocked ALV. So let's execute this blocked ALV example. Okay, what is the program? And we need to create a variant. So I'll create an empty variant. There's no rule that we have to provide the data for the variant as long as it is not mandatory. So go to 36. You can provide the program name also in place of job. Press enter. Save. Start condition. Immediate. Save. Let's go and check in SM37. I know the job name. This is the job name. And execute. Is not created.
The job matches.
Sorry, what is it?
Nothing, sir.
Let me create again. Provide the job name. Enter. Select the variant. Save. And job selection. Start condition. Start condition is immediate. It's not a periodic job. It's a one-time job. Save. Now go to SM37. Since I know the job name, I'm executing. Why it is not executed? Let me check. Let me try here. Execute in background. Immediately. Save. Background job is scheduled. Go to SM37. If you don't provide the jobs, it will select all the jobs available.
Okay, sir. So there is a
Or let me terminate this and select only our job. SM37. This one, right? This is our
yes,
job.
sir.
It is completed. Now go and check the job log. So ALV is displayed, but where can you display the ALV? When when it is executed in background. Here in spool,
Yes, sir.
select it and go to spool. It will generate a spool output. Select it, double click. and display. This
Yes,
is the
sir.
ALV output, okay,
Yes.
which is generated in
Yes,
console.
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
there is another transaction code SP02. Here also it is also for spool. Here also you can check the outputs. Whenever you print anything, where you can check in
Yes.
SP02, it's spool output. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's about it for today. Tomorrow we'll start a new topic.
Okay, sir.